You wanted it. You asked for it. Let's finish what we started. Obviously, our adventure in Valheim took a turn. It blew up, quite literally. But more importantly than that, during the end of our last video, I kind of skipped over a lot of content, mainly the mountains. So let's rewind it to the past, so you can join me on the adventure once more. There was one thing I really wanted to do for my base, build a fence around it, for I was tired of being attacked by grey dwarves and whatever else came. Soon after, we took on the mountain. Let's be real here, in the last clip you saw me get killed by a stone golem. Nothing changed. The stone golem was gatekeeping, and without that silver I wouldn't be able to upgrade myself. So he had to go. Now I don't know about others, but it took me forever to do any damage to him because A, I was scared to confront him. He is giant, he is enormous, he weighs 16 tons, and one smash of his finger will literally kill me. B, these arrows don't do shit. They tickle him, and it's not really what I'm going for. As a matter of fact, he wasn't the only problem, for we have Drake. Seriously, I hate Drake, and there's gonna be multiple reasons why I hate Drake. Every now and then Golark over here got distracted, so I used that opportunity to dig down and uncover the silver ore vein. Killing him was monumental, but it was nighttime, so you can only imagine what comes out. Yeah, I know. I was digging out the silver ore one by one. What can you ask from me, alright? I really needed it. Sure enough, after some well-spent time digging, I managed to get a lot of silver. And yeah, I was filling up my cart with it. Don't let this piece fool you. I will still attack quite often, and died more often than not. When you head up into the mountains, you better be prepared, because it is not forgiving. And those wolves, if you get more than 3 on you, without the correct armor, let's just say it's going to be a bad time. I continued exploring more mountain biomes and even went super far north. That's where we found our wonderful trader. That man gave me all the goodies that you saw in the other video. Mainly the belt that increases your weight carrying capacity and a headlamp. I built a mini portal in base, surrounded it with a fence, went back to the swamp biome to kill these trees. Yeah, no, I don't think I killed a singular one during the whole swamp phase, so I actually wanted its things because you kinda need it for the last bow. It's time for an unedited monologue. Enjoy. We're continuing Valheim because, well, I mean, the video did well. If you don't know, the last thing I ever did on this fucking game was literally climb a mountain and say, hey, let's record the intro, which was me spinning around. So, just as an explanation and a retcon of a lot of shit that happened that you guys probably wouldn't see on screen, but I think I deleted the original videos thinking that this was gonna be the one video I was gonna make because, you know, I uploaded the video and it had 100 views, and I just kept playing around with its title because I thought that was the thing that was holding the video back, and turns out I was right. So the video blew the fuck up. Thanks for that. I really appreciate it. No, it's seriously great. In doing so, I said, well, I didn't go over something. So one, in the last video, you knew I killed Eikthyr around this area, right? Let me mark that off. Eikthyr is dead. So Eikthyr, this is where we basically started. We started down in this area, and as you can see, it's a whole little freaking, I don't even know, a peninsula, like not a peninsula. This is a whole little island. We started here, moved from this island to Eikthyr. From there, we explored down here because we found out this was a mountain, and we ended up here at our peninsula base. Now, peninsula base is important because this is where we officially built, and it was also the place where we kind of traveled outwards. And instead of traveling down this way, which the map is obviously covered, our dumbass decided to take this little snake river path over here, and we ended up exploring all this, right? So the elder was down here. There was an elder here, and there's an elder up there. I decided to go south, so we ended up with this map, or this part of the map, right? Elder wasn't too bad. I obviously died to a freaking tree. This is where that trader was, which is great for us, and then we ended up finding a swamp hanging around this side, and a plains biome, a little plains biome right down here. Great, awesome. So now we know that. There's obviously a plains little part over here and a plains over here. The big ass mountain that I actually haven't really explored myself, which actually I just realized I haven't explored it. And then this is where we ended up finding the bone mass. So we traveled from, obviously, peninsula base up here, down here, and we ended up making another base in which we could climb up here for bone mass. Bone mass was a bitch, and we finally killed it. And then since then, I've only ever explored a little bit north. I found out there's a humongous black forest. This thing is huge, ridiculous as balls. I built a base up here and I also found another trader. That's where we got our lamp, which you can see here, which has been super helpful. And we also started traveling to the east or west. I forgot what side this is. We traveled this way and we found another snow biome, and we have a little makeshift shitty base over here. So we're exploring now, and that's basically a recap of things we've did. So we're just gonna put some old clips and you guys will enjoy the rest of it. This is part 2 of me trying to not get my ass kicked, and we are starting off bad. Now we're in the present timeline. Yes, you might think the mountain phase was pretty short, and to be fair, it kinda was. It really wasn't too difficult besides dying a couple of times. It was more like a war of attrition, who can last the longest and get the most material. But once you got the silver ore, it was game over for everything in the mountain, because now I could survive more than one hit. Again, this doesn't mean that you can take on the world, but you can at least survive. Now we traveled west and we found a big meadows biome. This led us to 2 mountains that were side by side. I had to explore them because I keep finding these drake eggs and I'm wondering if I need them for something. Explored more of the mountains, found myself more silver. Yes, this time I actually dug it out so we can break it in one swoop. It was a back and forth between the mountains and the swamp. I needed more iron, but I also needed entrails and everything else from the swamp. B, I also really like killing these trees now. As we went back to the mountains, there was something new. I found a structure up there. Is that what I think it is? Yes, this was in fact the Vigiseer. Is that how you say that? This would show us where Moder? Oh god, oh, you guys are gonna hate the pronunciation on this stuff. But the big giant dragon that I needed to kill, well, I was exploring all these different mountains. What you see in a couple of minutes took me hours to get to. And well, I didn't find him or his altar, so it was rather difficult and I really needed a lucky break. And lucky it was. Just kidding. Vigiseer for Moder! Holy Geesfar! God damn! Oh my god. And so began the expedition to Moder. Moder? Okay, someone just, just tell me in the comments. Whatever, I'm gonna call him Big M. Unfortunately for us, Valheim had different plans. I was watching a TV show as one does while playing Valheim when suddenly a sea snake came out of nowhere and attacked me. Oh shit! Luckily, I was close to land and so I ran away and... Did I just try to fisticuffs this thing? Yeah, I did. I'm not sure what I was trying, but we managed to kill it and we got new material from the big old snake. Let me start off by saying all previous expeditions are not even close to what we have to do today. And yes, I am talking about how far the Big M is. I went so far south that I even hit the Mistlands. I was not expecting that. Unfortunately for me, my side of the map actually had land in between us and the Big M, which meant one thing: I had to cut across. Why does this game hate me? Luckily, with a month worth of PTO and having absolutely nothing to do for Christmas and all this time, I said, hey, let's just get it all done. That along with a portal, and we literally broke our boat, threw it on the other side, ran with all our loot to the other side, and finally continued on with our journey. Land ho! Yep, I reached the plains biome and immediately built a base because I am not going to die out here. I also made a moat around our base. I ran up the mountain towards the Big M and we found a drake egg, placed it on the altar, and realized, crap, we need 2 more. But hey, we finally made it. But now is no time to take on the Big M, for we need to prepare. We began by getting way more copper because we are going to need bronze in order to level up some other things I want. After getting stacks of it, we added some coal, lit up the furnaces, and started blasting away. I headed up to the mountains in order to find more silver, and we were doing a pretty good job at getting all the silver I needed, until I had to go down the mountain with a cart. Let me just say that this does not go well. Maybe I should have pre-planned a path because this was horrible. My cart not only flipped over, but I was also being constantly attacked and managed to get stuck in so many different rocks. Once all that was finished, I had to bring it all back on my favorite boat. And so we looked at what we needed in order to upgrade. It was time to take on the Big M, the dragon, the queen of the skies. First, I had to take out a stone golem. That thing would wreck me along with the boss. I just want to say that as I was doing this fight, I had one goal in mind: to beat it in one go. That was what I wanted. I felt prepared. I felt strong. I felt like I had done everything correct. And lo and behold, I was doing damage. My bow and arrow was ticking off health bit after bit. The queen of the sky could barely keep up with me. And to be honest, even when she landed, I wasn't even scared. I went fist for wing, knife for tooth. I would be the one who slays her. Again, this fight was something to behold. Berserker no longer feared the bosses, for now they should be fearing him. This time around, I didn't care what it was. I was going to get the job done, or so I thought. For you see, there's always one thing that goes wrong with this game. And for me, it just so happened to be the fact that I did not have enough health, and I overestimated just how much I can block from her, as she took one final bite and sent me to the gulag. No! By the way, I also ran out of arrows. Bad time to not have the fire arrows. And those goddamn drakes, if it wasn't for the drake hitting me, I may have been able to protect myself, run away, or do something else. But alas, I was not able to. And so began the downtrend of luck. When I say that everything went to shit, it went to shit. No. No! From the worst timing of having wolves attack me to being hunted down by wolves, or better yet, just not being able to carry the crap I even brought up, it all went to shit. And when I tried to take on Mater, in order to take out its little bit of health left, well, she slapped me away like a Squeedo. What the f? I know most of you are probably like, hey, you still have the Elder. I know, that was probably my biggest mess up this whole time. If I would have had the bone mass power, let's just say I could have probably survived almost everything and killed her the first time. And like I said, I really try to get back up there, and I know I should have come more prepared. At this point, I'm frustrated. I don't care about anything else. And there's something about me that you all should know. The angrier I get, the more locked in I become. Or so I would like to think, but honestly I was just getting ass clapped left and right. And of course, when all else fails, why not just add a little extra bit of difficulty? That's right, why not add a stone golem on top of all my problems? Luckily, once I was able to grab my stuff, I booked it out of there. I ran, I did not care, it was over. She had basically healed up entirely, I was already at wit's end, and I was about to quit the game entirely. But I'm not a quitter, I'm Johnny Shrimp, and nothing will ever stop the mighty shrimp from beating any game. I loaded myself up with everything I would ever need. The correct powers, the best arrows, the best foods. I was going to take this sky bitch down whether I die or not. I was pissed off the whole time. Anger fueled me, and I locked in like I promised earlier. And we had finally done it. We killed her, and she stayed back like a coward, clinging for her life. I at least faced her head on and died multiple times, but in the end, she couldn't even look me in the eyes. I at least fought you head on like a fucking man, you little pussy. Now you're gonna die like a coward. That's right, motors and tears. And so, we slayed the bitch queen and stuck her head on a pike. As always, there's one thing we learned while killing a boss. Preparation is key, and I failed. I know. It hurts me too, but we still managed to kill her. And now what follows is what I can only say is the most difficult thing I've done in all of Valheim. Finding the Plains boss. I want to make sure to plug this in so everyone knows. I changed one setting in all of Valheim, and that was to allow teleportation for all items. Some of you may think that would take away from me traveling. In reality, it did not at all. If anything, it encouraged me to actually want to build in other spots and build all over the place because it was way more fun than doing nothing but ship sailing. because let me tell you, these next few clips, and possibly this next few bit of the video, is almost 90% me traveling on a boat. And when I say that I have hours and hours of footage of me on a boat, I was not kidding. During this boating adventure, I did manage to find more crypts, and specifically I found 2 crypts right next to each other in a new swamp. So I quickly built up a base, set down my portal, ran over to the crypt, made sure that I got all the goodies inside, and lo and behold, I really need iron, it turns out. I feel like Johnny Appleseed. It's good to plant trees. Go plant a tree. As always, I had that itch, and it was time to take on the plains without fear. I shot at a giant cow. I feel really bad shooting at it with fire. Also, mosquitoes were attacking me, and a fulling that's 2 stars. Oh my god, I am going to die. I'm out of here. I do want to mention that at this point of the game, I didn't really have a dedicated farm. I didn't have dedicated anything. Everything was just randomly placed and thrown everywhere. It was time for me to change that. So we went all the way back to the start, flattened out a humongous amount of land, and started making our new farmhouse in front of our statues because I also want to get there quickly and get the powers when I need them. Once I made my beautiful square hut, I also realized, hey, I haven't even tried taming. So let's go tame some boars. I mean, at this point I've killed 4 bosses and I don't even have a single boar. And boy, was it not difficult at all to do. All I did was just have him chase me inside the pen, I threw some food in, and I crouched. After a certain amount of time, they were almost tamed. And when they did become tamed, well, I could have been no less prouder than a parent who had a newborn. I caged up my boar friends, gave them a little window to look out, connected the farm to the home, finished building our farm, and yes, you are correct. I should have never kept an open window. 2 of our pigs died. You know, the 2 I only had, or so I thought. The little babies. In essence of not having any more livestock slaughtered, I decided to put down a fence all around the house. And to make our defenses even better, I decided, hey, let me raise up a humongous wall of earth. Yes, I killed a pig. I also killed a fulling. I killed multiple fullings, raided their base, took this little, I don't even know what this is. I built a random useless snow base. I finally faced something that I should have never faced. Something that brought so much fear to my heart. This little black goo stuff. Seriously, holy crap, dude, how do you take this on? I went and fought a huge village, picking off fullings left and right and taking on big dudes. Wait a minute, pause. We were also exposed to magic. Seriously, who would have expected them to have shamans? I built raid outposts. Heh, the farm is growing. At this point, it was honestly just rinse and repeat. We went out, we raided some villages, we took their stuff, we came back home. But there was one thing I noticed. There was way too many of these monsters to take on all the time. So what did I do? I did a drive-by. I stole everything, flax, wheat, whatever I could get my grubby hands on. I stole it from them. And I dodged it all, running away home scot-free. Soon after, we got to build the windmill as well as the spinning wheel, which, hey, it would come in handy. So it turns out you can't grow wheat or flax in the meadows. I learned that the hard way, so we had to make a farm in the plains. But that's scary. Let's use our imagination. After a lot of hard work and so much mining, we finally have a base out in the meadows. Not only is it protected by a moat and big walls, but we also have farm. Yep, we're making progress. This feels good. Why does this feel so good? I did a huge silver run. You don't want to watch me do that, but just know, damn, he got a lot of silver. After cooking all of that silver, I finally figured it out. What is a blast furnace used for? Well, turns out to smelt this. The farm, it's huge. All of it is huge. Just like in real life, I suck at fishing. I wish I was better. Actually, I will get better. But seriously, it was bad. I didn't know what I was doing. And honestly, I was wondering if it was even worth it. What do you guys think? I think I learned the most during this time in the plains. To be honest, it was an amazing time to learn combat mechanics because that's all I had to focus on. There wasn't any rain, just like the swamp, and there wasn't some bullcrap to deal with like the mountains. So it was just fighting and fighting. And honestly, I really liked the change of pace. It was just combat. That's it. I got so much better during that. I also realized these villages drop a crap ton of material, most of it being hides from different animals, usually deer and boars. That's not to say that there's no dangers. I mean, let's be real here. I got hunted down by wolves, and although I did a magnificent job at killing all of them, well, they got to me in the last bit, which was so sad. But hey, look at that pile of meat and pelts. I feel like most of you who have played probably understand that really the true biggest challenge of the plains is not really the plains itself, although it can be overwhelming sometimes, especially if you get caught off guard by a mosquito, but it's more so the fact that you have to explore so much. I mean, I visited about 9 different plains and could not find the boss, nor could I find a Vigiseer. I mean, seriously, it was so difficult. I was losing my mind over it. What do you guys think? Was it really this hard for you, or did you get lucky and find it? For me, it took forever. And then one day, while I was just out sailing, it happened. And of course, it happened where I would have least expected it to be. Did I find it? I found it! I found it, Ma! I was so excited I was screaming all over the house. Let's be real here. For me, this one felt less like a accomplishment and way more like a relief. I can finally relax knowing that the new boss is right here. And honestly, the surrounding area is not terrible. It's not surrounded by too many enemies. And hey, we found this whole flat top up here. Of course, it's next to this goo pile, which honestly kind of scares me. And we did have to take care of these 2 ogre things, but it was worth it. Good thing we spent a lot of time raiding all these villages. Turns out you needed those totems because that's the only way you could summon the boss. Woo! Thank God for that. Before I took on the boss, I wanted to make a new base, and more specifically, pimp it out. Going crazy, trying to increase the comfort level as high as I could, all while maintaining a cool structural look. And it was worth it. We even had a Christmas tree. Oh, I love this Christmas tree. I felt comfortable, I felt good. Maybe we could have kept going and building more, but I said, hey, you know what time it is. It's time to take on Yagluth. This thing was going to be scary, and if there's one thing I learned is that you do not get recipes for nothing. So I made sure I had health potions, stamina potions, and a fire-resistant potion. And all the while maintaining every single gear I have, replacing every gear I have, making sure it's close by so that I can just respawn and bring my items towards the boss. And hopefully, we take it out in one go. So, it begins. We make the final adjustments and head out, knowing that this might be the end of our journey. Either I beat this boss, or it destroys everything I've ever worked hard for. Odin brought me here for a reason, and I had to complete this mission, once and for all. We set up the 5 totems, and just like that, we made the sacrifice, summoning Yagluth. And oh boy, this thing immediately got stabbed by me. And even though I did get some early chip, it's not a boss to play around with. Quickly, it lit my ass on fire. The pressure was on, and more specifically so, it dropped freaking meteors from the air. Holy crap, it took me out for a surprise seeing that come down. It was raining balls of fire, and I was terrified. Hey, it even knows Hyper Beam. I was running around trying to dodge everything, using the pillars above me as well to block off some of those meteors. I was figuring it out. Yagluth is not that scary. Berserker had the advantage here. I was slowly chipping away, noticing moments in which I can close the gap and commit to some strong attacks. I realized the arrows I brought were probably not the best for this. If anything, I should have brought some frost arrows. It could have probably done more. Remember, even though we popped the bone mass's power, it's not infinite, and even our comfort levels could be in danger. I made sure to continue watching my health. There's a timer every time you take a potion, so you can't infinitely spam them. The best bet was to use it when I got critically in danger. I would use those moments to chip away at its health. And sometimes I would even waste all my stamina knowing that I have a stamina potion and then just redo all the damage I could. This was done when I had the highest amount of health. Other than that, luckily the fire resistance potion lasted quite a bit, and I made sure that I kept my eye on its counter because fire was way too prevalent right now, and even with the resistance potion, if I'm not too careful, it could easily incinerate the rest of my body, turning me into ash. There were a few scary moments, I'm not going to lie to you. Fearing for my life, I made a huge mistake. You gotta be kidding me. That mosquito might get me killed. You gotta be kidding me, man. I swear to God, this game is dumb sometimes. fucking mosquito. I knew that thing was gonna be a fucking issue right there. God damn it. Of all the times I could have fucking died. And just like that, my luck strikes again. The mosquito of all things came out of nowhere and probed my ass, sending me back to my base. It sucked, and it honestly was demoralizing for 2 seconds. But this time, I came prepared. I didn't have to run up a mountain to get to the boss. I luckily built nearby. I lied, I didn't do anything, I just died again. Instead of being an idiot and heading back there with no clothing and running around, I said I need my armor, I need to eat food, I need to grab my stuff as quick as possible and regroup before that thing heals way more than I've dealt. In doing so, there were a couple big mistakes. For one, you probably don't want to leave the altar, especially if you live next to goo and if there's these stupid cows chasing after you. And that's exactly what happened. Not only was this mammoth truck over here trying to hit me, the goo came out and started wreaking havoc. Things were looking really bad. Everything was turning south and it was getting out of control quickly. I was running out of space, I was running out of food, my armors are starting to fall out, and I was scared that I wouldn't have enough weight to carry everything. The growths were wreaking havoc, and to be honest, even though I created a moat, it was still super dangerous because if they somehow find a way up, my house, my whole belongings, everything could potentially be destroyed. And the last thing I want is for the portal to get kicked out. I would lose my mind. I had to play it carefully, I had to play it safe. And that's what we did. As soon as we grabbed my items, I just went for it. Yagluth was right there, his health was climbing up, and I didn't want to take a risk. So I ran at him. But this time, there was something that I forgot. I had my silver sword attached. And would you look at that? It turns out, Yagluth, it's weak to it. Remember how silver does special damage to skeletons and growths as well as slimes and the Draugr? Well, it's no different for the boss. I was hearing the sting, and that's what I needed. This was our chance. This was our moment. Capturing the moment, I went for it. Yes, I died. But this, I can feel it. It's the end. With the last bit of my strength, we came back in force, and we took down Yagluth. Okay, just keep going. We're good. Fuck you. Fuck you, Yagluth. Holy shit. Why'd I pick up like 70 stones? And just like that, a new crow appeared. But I didn't have time to look at what was happening. There was still one major danger. Those growths were nearby, and they were causing so much havoc I had to run. I almost died in that moment. So, we ran away. But after that, we created our new item. The Wisp Fountain would let you collect spirits. At night, the wisps are coming, and that they did. As I collected one, a new recipe unlocked. The Wisp Light. So yeah, guys, we did it. I was excited. I ran all the way to the start, and I put Yagluth's head on the hook. We did it. 5 full bosses taken down. If I remember correctly, this was it. This was the base game before Mistlands and Ashlands came out. If that's true, then that might mean there's more to come. Until next time, everybody, I appreciate you if you would subscribe, like, comment, and if you could share this video. Let me know, how did you enjoy these 2 bosses? Until then, I'll see you guys on the next one. Johnny Shrimp is out.